Drop this in the.
Yeah, welcome back to the incredible Rockers Propaganda channel. I am your man's AK Infinity _VVS. That's my Twitter handle. Go follow me there. Like the video, comment, subscribe, the whole nine. You know the drill by now. So this is the last episode of the improvement series, and I had to save Jalen Green for last. I think probably for obvious reasons. We probably got the most to talk about here with Jalen. Yeah, bruh, I'm gonna jump straight into this one. Woo! That boy, Jalen Green, sometimes this season, he looked everything like a number 2 prospect, sometimes number 1 prospect. Then other times it's like, bruh, what is he doing in the NBA? Then other times he's like, that's Jalen Green, like, that's that dude right there. Mama, there go that man, to quote the great Mark Jackson. Yeah, like, I don't know, it's such a mixed bag, man. The inconsistencies, the highs, the lows. The highs were so high and the lows were so low. There was just not a steady stream of consistent, I know I'm gonna get this from this guy. The only thing you knew what you was gonna get from him was you didn't know. You was gonna get something random. That was the only sense of consistency we had from him all season. We had the start of the season where I think some people kind of went overboard with their exaggerations of how bad it was, because when you go and look back at it, it wasn't as bad early. He just had a really bad December and an absolutely atrocious February, but for the rest of the season, he was just up and down, just plain up and down. So, I mean, let's just talk about his actual skill set, man. He really got a really nice skill set. He's flash, and I'm just talking about like top end right now, what we seen him do, cause he's so inconsistent. You can't really tell. But hear me out. He can shoot it from the 3 from the mid range, and he can finish at the cup. He's athletic as hell. He can actually defend. He's actually defended this year like pretty damn good, I would say. Just from the eye test, he's defended pretty good. Sometimes he get lost when it's time to rotate and all that, but when he get locked in on the ball on his man, like he wasn't fooled. You know what I mean? He was not fooled on that end. His rebounding improved, his passing improved, and not just the passing in a vacuum, like as far as the assist numbers, but his facilitating really improved. That really took a step. Matter of fact, everything took a jump. He got better at absolutely everything basketball wise, except what he came into the league known as, which was a scorer. His scoring was just up and down so bad. Now, I've made this analogy before. It kind of reminded me of when Steve Francis had his first season under Jeff Van Gundy, and he just didn't know when to shoot, when to pass. He didn't know when to do what. Like, he just looked like a shell of himself. Like, he looked so unsure. If any of y'all remember that, you know, type in the comments down below, franchise. Some of y'all might be old enough to remember that. But yeah, so, I mean, the basketball skills are there, man. There's no question about it. The basketball skills are there. What isn't, well, then again, too, we got to add in, he was asked to do a lot different things this season. He was asked to be more of a well-rounded player, which he's never been asked to do. He's only been asked to be a scorer, and then that's really it. So when you ask him to get outside his comfort zone, obviously we should have expected some inconsistency. Just knowing how a human being is, when you ask to get outside your comfort zone, at first you're gonna be very inconsistent, and you might even lose yourself on the things that you are, known to be good at. So there's that. However, towards the end of the season, he did pick that up in that he started to regain the confidence of the fan base in that March. If that's the top end of Jalen Green, what we got in March, we good. We got to keep that. We got to keep that guy, because that's a guy who's a number one. That's a guy who was an alpha dog. That's a guy you can win a championship with. March Jalen Green is a guy you can win a championship with. Yes, you can. Absolutely. We've seen that archetype win championships time and time again. Now, let's go on and jump into the improvements, man. What I think he need to get him to get better at. He's always been working on his body since he got in the league. He's worked on that time and time again. He does need to continue to get stronger. I haven't really seen him get out muscled too much. Not too bad this season, but that's something that he's still gonna need to improve upon. So, I mean, but that's a basic thing. That's something that's gonna come as he ages anyway. But I think the biggest thing for him though is he has to find that gear that he likes to play at in order to be consistent. He can't be at gear one game, or hell, he can't be in gear 1 for a quarter and then just turning up to gear 5, gear 6 in the next, and then go back down to gear 1 in another quarter. Like, he need to find a consistent 4th gear, 3rd or 4th gear, and not let the team down so bad. Because sometimes, as you could tell, like when Jalen Green plays well, we can't lose. We just don't lose. We are such a different team when Jalen Green is on. So I'm gonna need him to find whatever it is in his routine, because this is mental. This is not even like a basketball thing. This is a mental thing. This is a routine thing. Whatever routine he need to find, whatever consistency in his routine he needs to find, he needs to, stick with it. Whatever he was doing in March, that's what he need to stick with. I understand that the circumstances were a little bit different. You know what I mean? But he got to find that steady pace that he knows he can be consistent at. Game after game, we need to know what we're gonna get out of this guy game after game. Like, we can't be Jekyll and Hyde up and down and around the town until it all goes the hell down. Like, we can't be doing all that, bro. We need some consistency, Mr. J. Yeah, we do. Another thing he got to do, especially after what we saw after March in April, he got to learn how to deal with them traps, man. And in order to learn how to deal with them traps, he has to, some of that's going to be on the coaching staff, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about Jalen, what Jalen can do. Jalen got to learn how to direct traffic on offense. What do I mean by that? All right, you're getting trapped. You got to make sure you directing traffic you got to tell your guys where to go. At a certain point, you get a feel for where the traps are coming from, who's getting the traps, or whose man is being used to come and trap Jalen in whatever areas of the court. And what he got to do is he got to communicate with all of his teammates and tell them, hey, look, when your man leaves to come and trap me, I'm going to pass the ball to this certain area and I'm going to expect you to be there. And then he needs to even communicate with the guys on the backside and tell them where to be too. So when he does pass out of that trap and the person who gets the ball, the open man gets the ball, so you understand how the defense is going to rotate, and there's going to be an opening somewhere unless the person that Jalen outlets that ball to is wide ass open and just decides he want to, create something for himself. He got to learn how to do all of it, all 3 levels. He got to learn to do that. And that leads me to my next thing that I think he can improve on, and that's adding point guard skills. He's not a point guard, but in today's NBA, a lot of these point guards ain't really point guards to begin with. I'll give you an example. There was a conversation on Twitter where people was comparing him to Ant Edwards. And I said, he reminds me more of Ja Morant than Anthony Edwards. He just happens to play the same position as Anthony Edwards. But when you look at body type and athletic profile, speed, and how they use their speed, he's way more Ja Morant than Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is more raw power and strength, and Ja Morant is more speed, finesse, and gracefulness. You know what I mean? So, and then when you watch Ja Morant play too, he don't play like a traditional point guard. You know what I'm saying? Most of these point guards don't. Like, that's a dying breed. So if I'm trying to tell Jalen Green who to watch out of them too, just from a basketball standpoint, we're not talking nothing but basketball, Naomi mentality or nothing. Just from a pure basketball standpoint, I would have him model his game a little bit more after Ja, because Ja He has all of them flip shots going to the paint because Jalen is really good getting to the basket. Sometimes he's a little wild going there, but he really improved on his finishing throughout the season. So he's got another thing he needs to, leads me to my next point. He needs to settle on a certain shot profile. I would like the Ja Morant shot profile for him. All of them shots 15 feet and in that Ja Morant makes, Jalen Green has the potential to do the same thing. Take the same kind of shots and make them, and probably even at a higher clip because he's got a little bit more size than Ja. So, and then as far as three-point shooting goes, I mean, I don't mind him, being aggressive shooting the three when they're there, but I don't want him to prioritize that. He's shot a lot of threes this year, man. Like, he shot a hell of a lot of them. And sometimes I'm just like, bruh, why are you shooting this many threes? Even when he's making them, I understand. But bruh, as fast and athletic as you are, you need to be attacking that rim just like Ja does. I ain't saying that he's going to be Ja. I'm just saying, look, take from some of Ja Morant's game and add that to your bag. Take down the three-point shots just a little bit. He shot, how many three-point shots he had a game? He averaged, I think it was like 6 point something per game this season. I'm gonna need him to be closer to, I need him to max out really at 5 and replace a lot of that with more drives to the basket. You know what I'm saying? Getting teammates open, finding them dump-off passes, and play more downhill, man. I understand you can shoot. We know you can shoot. We know you can shoot a song, man. We know it. All right, you ain't got to prove it every damn time. We also know that you fast as hell and like to get to the rack. We want to see you do that more. Now, I feel like once he settles on a certain shot profile, that's gonna be what makes him more consistent. Like, you can't be shooting a bunch of threes one game and then not so many the next game, and you being aggressive shooting from the perimeter another game. Another thing that I think would probably help him a lot is take more mid-range shots, because he's actually really good at those. Take more mid-range shots. Replace 2 of your three-pointers with 2 middies every game, man. You got to have that in-between game. You got to have that as a staple of your game. You know what I'm saying? I think something like that is going to be what takes his game to the next level and adds that consistency to him. But from a basketball standpoint, as far as the skills go, he got all the skills he needs, man. Like, he has the skills. Some of these things is kind of more in-depth, X's and O's type stuff, differentiating your shot profile, your shot diet, things like that. But as far as the basketball skills, he got it. He got it all. He can do it. It's just a matter of him making up his mind to be consistent every game. I know what I'm gonna come do this game, no matter what the defense says they want me to do. I'm gonna take what I want. That's what we need from him. This has been the last episode, though, of the improvements series. Shout out to you if you watched all of the ones that I've done on the Core 6. Like I said, it's the last one. If you watched all of them, shout out to you, man. Leave a comment down below too, just saying all of them. In any way you want to spell it, all of them. Appreciate y'all for coming through. It's the Rockets Propaganda Channel. I'm your man's AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter at AKInfinity_VVS. We out.